All right, so dude, so I want to talk about what you did. You did an epic interview that you did with Zeeks, previous community manager Zeeks. So maybe we should do a video. This is actually really awesome that we got you on here, and Valley rated us. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Whoops.
he does like you.
That's oh well. That's one person in the whole community. All
Oh,
right.
look at that. That's a face only a mother could love. Look at
Oh man, so definitely. I mean, this was awesome. Okay, let's put Zeke's over here in the middle. But basically, you're man. Look at this double version of you right here, and then we got Zeke's over here, and you ask a bunch of awesome questions. Bunch of awesome questions. You want to tell everybody like what was going through your mind and what were you trying to accomplish?
Are you all right? You want me to set it up?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Set it up, man.
okay, so obviously there's been a lot of like issues with the community lately with started with leaderboards and went on to the events, the paywalls, the excessive blitzing, the QA, you name it. Like I just made a list of all the things. So I asked her if she wanted to do an interview with me, and she was very gracious enough to do it, and I thought it was great. Now, the benefit of having Zeeks is that she doesn't have these restrictions like Cerebro would have,
Right.
right? So she can talk a little more freely. However, I had to be mindful that she does still work in the industry and they all know each other. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so I had to be a little mindful of that. With that being said, I asked her questions that would pertain to things that are affecting the community that would also kind of be uh, issues when she was working there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's only been less than a year removed from Scopely. So she's still pretty aware of the new stuff that's going on with the game
Right.
for the most part. So it's not like I completely lost her, which was really cool. So she just kind of gives her take to what I say is to quell the storm of all the issues that are going on with the game, and to
Right.
kind of answer some of the FAQs from the community as to what the hell is Scopely thinking. So I hope this video would kind of help people with some insight onto some of the things that are going on behind the scenes that they won't tell you, but Zeeks will tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't mind me. I'm just pouring myself more drinks.
I thought you weren't drinking today.
That's what I thought. I got to finish this
What
this
a,
bottle, right?
yeah, you can't leave it partially empty.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's really cool that you did that whole interview, and I think you started off actually talking about how the two things that you really wanted to convey, right? Saying that hey, these are actually awesome, like good people. It's not about
Yeah.
like all the hatred, all the salt that's going on Reddit and all of that. So I mean, what were the two things that she really wanted to emphasize?
Yeah, so the first one is that in the gaming community itself, the
Hmm.
developers, as people and as the rank and file workers, are genuinely really good people that do care about the game. It's the complete
Right.
opposite of what you might think when big things happen. It's like, oh, the developers are checked out, they don't care.
Yeah.
And her message was to let you know that it's the opposite of that. They do care. There is a lot of red tape in these companies
Hmm.
that kind of tie their hands with some things. And she was saying in a big company like Scopely,
Hmm.
it's even worse because it goes up to higher levels, even that affects her ability to communicate to the players as a community manager.
Right.
She even touched on that in the video about there's like 10 levels of people that have to approve
Oh man.
everything. Also, another thing too that she wanted I didn't put it in the video, but she wanted the community to know
Hmm.
is that even the blog posts have to get approved by Marvel before they go out. Marvel.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of bureaucracy and red tape that goes behind that.
Uh-huh.
The other thing that she wanted to touch on was the fact that hackers and exploiters it's a pandemic in every game company. It's
Yeah.
not just Scopely, it's not Marvel Strike Force. There's, any kind of games that have competitions, competitive aspects of it, like your Call of Duties,
Right.
things like that, have some kind of people with modding, cheating, hacking, stuff like that.
Yeah.
She wanted to say that unfortunately, their detection software can't actually work unless it becomes a problem. Like there has to be something for them to work on, it. So that's kind of how the gaming industry attacks that. So I know it's been going on for a little while. with Scopely,
Yeah.
and I think it's just become more in the limelight the past 6 months or so. But it is something that they're always actively working on, and it may not be perfect. And I know this Scourge event, they did remove a lot of players, and unfortunately, some non-cheaters got caught in the crossfire
Yeah,
with that.
it happens.
But they can deal with that on a case-by-case basis, of course.
Right.
But I think for the most part, they did a better job than they usually do with taking care of the exploiting and the cheating.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine.
So she
I
wanted
mean,
to make that, yeah. So she just wanted to make those 2 points emphasized because we didn't really talk about it in the video.
Yeah. I think when I used to work in the video game space, right, it was the same thing. We had some rather large IPs. It was definitely not as large as Marvel, but still, you do have to go through so many layers of approvals, which actually makes it quite annoying, right? Especially if you're trying to get bug fixes or say, for example, kit releases, reveals, all of that. So there's just a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of process, which I didn't appreciate, but at the same time, I think sometimes us as players, we got to sort of look from the inside, right? Put ourselves in their shoes. And unfortunately, I think the key thing is that there just wasn't enough communication. And whether that's on Reddit, whether that's on the blog posts, it just wasn't enough. And I think that if recently, I believe what was it? Cerebro was saying that he was going to hire more community managers and he was going to go to another role. Do you remember? Do you know what's going on with that?
Yeah, so from what I understand, Lori is there to deal specifically with the envoys to, kind of be their liaison between the community and the company. The community managers itself, Cerebro got promoted to, I think it was like manager of like game experience,
Yeah,
something weird
that's
like
right,
that.
something
And they were
experience.
supposed to hire another community manager to backfill that role of his. So I'm not sure if Cerebro's still doing the role until they hire somebody else. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I see. Yeah, and I think it's going to be an ongoing thing, right? I mean, I know that they're hiring a lot of people. They're replacing people. I think there's a new creative director that joined recently. That's a hardcore MSF player. So we're starting to see things improve. But I mean, did you get much out of other things out of Zeeks in terms of sort of where the game is headed or where the company's headed from your perspective?
So the best answer I can give you is that she did say that every Monday evening they have a meeting between the community managers and the developers. Now you have to also remember that they are not back to the office yet. She told me that a lot of game companies in California are still working from home, including most of Scopely. So you still have that challenge. So her access or Cerebro's access to the developers is going to be somewhat limited to Zoom calls and things like that. So she said that there is what's called a sentiment tracker. And what it does is it kind of analyzes a lot of the comments that are on different social media platforms. I think she said that they monitor Reddit manually because the sentiment tracker doesn't actually track Reddit, but it does Facebook and Twitter, some Discords, the envoys and stuff like that. And they compile all that information. And then on Monday evening, they have a meeting and basically break it down like this is, the issues from Reddit that I've learned. These are the issues from Twitter. These are the issues from Facebook, stuff like that. And they'll compile like things that are very important to them, and they'll come up with a priority list that's always evolving, always changing, and they're always trying to do things to improve that sentiment score. Obviously, she said it's a really difficult challenge to do that, especially when a lot of parts of the machine are not working together, and that kind of leads into like one of the big things we did talk about, and I wanted to push her on this, was the QA of the game with all the bugs and stuff.
Oh man!
So she did confirm to me that Scopely does have a QA team. They are not called the envoys. So they do.
What?
They do have a So they do have a QA team.
Yeah.
They do work on these things. However, because of deadlines, because developers have a deadline they have to stick to, they don't always get the proper QA, and unfortunately things slip through the system
Yeah.
quite often.
Yeah.
And she was saying, like, one of the greatest things of being a community manager or a QA person is the ability to tell the developers, "I told you so,"
Yes.
because the QA department is actually catching these things. Told me they are catching these things.
Mm-hmm.
Scopely sometimes just does not have either the time or the ability to fix it.
Yeah.
So they push it out anyways if it's not going to affect the game that bad. Unfortunately, when it does come out to the game, it does affect the game that bad. I mean, you can see
Yep.
the player's sentiment, and that affects that sentiment score. And you can see all the comments that come flooding back, and the community managers will come back to the devs and say, "Look, I told you so, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you need to change your stuff."
And I can only imagine, right? I don't know if any viewers are actually in these, software companies or whatever. When I used to work in the video game space, I actually ran a QA department as well, back in the day. And it was so much easier being in a physical location, right? Everybody's testing stuff, you're playing the game, right? And you just look over next to your buddy and just be like, dude, did you just see this? And then you're just like, oh, let me check it out. I can only imagine how hard it is. I mean, I'm not defending Scopely. I'm just saying that this day and age, it's probably really hard to figure out, oh, here's a bug. I got to put it in my bug tracking system, and then somebody has to read that. And then how do you actually push a developer to fix it? I used to actually run over to a dev. I'd be like, hey, because, you get to befriend them. You go out for drinks, whatnot. I was just, on a side note, I used to drink like a whole like 4 pints with a dev, and then we got some stuff fixed. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Even though it introduced new bugs to the game, but that's besides the point. But the point is, it's so much easier in a physical work environment to get stuff done. And I feel like, especially now, I that's actually really interesting news for me that Scopely is still working from home. But I thought the pandemic is over. What's going on, guys?
I guess it depends on, and they're all in California. So,
Yeah.
she said they also do have some remote locations that they have work, but a lot of that is like they do have QA people that work remotely.
Yeah.
And some other smaller aspects of the company that do work remotely. They have some overseas people that help with obviously the blog translations and the in-game mail translations and all that stuff. So they do have some remote stuff. But for the most part in California, she was telling me that a lot of companies, her company that she works for now is still working from home. She's pretty sure Blizzard is still working from home.
Yeah.
And so, it's still, they haven't really returned to normal yet. So who knows? I'm sure the game will get exponentially better once they're all back in the office.
Yeah.
I think that, just like when you go to a restaurant and, you get slow service, or maybe your order is wrong because, they're understaffed. I think we have to be a little understanding of that situation. I think we still have to be a little understanding of this situation. Now, I'm not being an apologist for this company at all, because they're still making tons of money, and they should be able to, figure out ways to do this. But I think that the company and the community needs to come together a little bit more, and I think the company needs to finally admit that we need to come together a little bit more to work on these problems together. There's a lot of people in the Envoy program that are willing to tackle this problem with them. They just have to kind of grow the spine to be able to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it's not easy, right? It's always interesting to sort of peel back the layers and take a look what's inside, right? And I think you did an amazing job for the community, especially interviewing somebody who used to work there at Scopely, right? Because we love to bitch, we love to complain about all the issues, every single patch, there's crashes, yada, yada. But I think it's really great to actually hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And that's really the key thing. And I really, this is what I love, right? I know that your previous videos, you have a lot of salt about, whether it's the Envoy program or other programs or whatnot. But the thing is, it's really a balanced understanding of the whole, right? Of the game as a whole, right? Because we're the consumers. We're not the creators, right? Just like, the Doctor Strange movie. Can you imagine, if you look at all those credits, how many people, how much time and effort they took to actually create that movie? It's insane, right? And when you put yourself in that position, you gotta see it from a different light and different perspective. And I sure me, I bitched about not my Wong for a while since the last patch. But the thing is, they didn't think about that, right? Did you really think
Yeah.
that they had somebody on the team going through, is this politically correct? And then Marvel says, I think it is, but you know what? It was actually from the 1960s comics. But the thing is, there's always going to be bullshit. There's always going to have issues no matter what, because this is a very, very hard game to keep updating continuously, right? And now
Right.
we're getting, instead of 4 characters, we're getting 5 characters, right? Maybe 6 characters in the future. I don't even know how to keep up
Yeah.
with this anymore. But I really love how you interviewed, and it wasn't all about like the negativity that's been spread around the community. It's really trying to make people understand that, hey, Scopely, they're also they're people, right? They're like you and me. We're stuck at home, or at least if we're working from home, we're stuck here, and they're trying to pump out a huge game, right? Sure, it's a mobile game, but still, they're making a ton of money. They're hiring new people. They're putting in all sorts of new resources. So, I mean, it's great to have it on both sides, right? To understand the whole dynamic.
Yeah. So, like I said, like you said, there was a lot of salt that I put out in my videos and things like that. And I think, I was always raised to, like, instead of just complaining, try and come up with a solution to an issue.
Right.
And I think what my goal was to uh, come up with my little solution that could possibly affect some opinions on the game. So I could make videos all the time complaining about the game and
Right.
crapping on the game all the time. But what am I actually accomplishing? Like, what solution am I coming up with? So
Right.
I thought, like, why not just interview somebody that had firsthand knowledge of the game?
Yes.
And I know Zeeks is pretty accessible for someone like me, more than a Cerebro would be or anything like that. Plus, I know that Zeeks would be able to speak a little more freely about the game than
Right.
Cerebro would be able to.
Absolutely.
So, kind of my little solution to help the community was to get some answers from somebody that would have the answers and not just complain about the game with us.
Right.
She actually, I structured it in a way where I was pretty much just engaging in my own curiosity about certain things, and she was extremely, like, even the stuff that wasn't on camera, she was extremely accommodating. She was super fun. I sent her all the questions ahead of time. She had no
Wow.
issues with any of the questions. Yeah.
Did you ask about a hot tub?
and I'm gonna probably work on that for the next one. I'm still waiting on yours.
Yeah, we still got to do that hot tub stream together, a virtual hot tub
I know,
stream,
right? Yeah, the hashtag that's my Wong hot tub stream. So yeah, I was just trying to engage in the curiosity that we would have, that the community would have, and just kind of get some burning questions answered that everybody's just wanting to know, like, what the hell is going on over
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
Why are all these things happening? So that's my best way that I could think of to kind of get the answers for those questions.
No, it's amazing, right? You finally, there's an interview that's actually not a predetermined one, right? I know that Tana did some interviews previously about Gambit or whatnot, but those are really, I mean, you see the devs actually reading. Literally, as they're responding, they're reading from a response deck or something, right? And that's very NDA'd or whatever, and it's got to go through so many layers. I think you said 10 layers of a process, and
She said sometimes even more.
that's
Like, she said right now she only has 2 people that check her stuff, and they give her a lot of liberties over there. But at Scopely, I guess because it's a Marvel IP, there's many layers of things. Even like I said, even the blog post has to get approved by Marvel
Right.
for that to go posting.
And so Run7 asks, do we know if Zeeks was still under NDA or info on how Scopely uses NDAs? Did you get any info on that?
No, she's not under. No, she wasn't under NDA anymore. No,
Okay.
no. So like I said, I gave her the questions ahead of time. She said not a problem whatsoever.
Wow.
She just didn't want to say anything that would blacklister in the industry, so I absolutely sent her the questions ahead of time
Right.
so she could kind of get a few answers in her mind, but she was very open about things. And like I said, even off of camera, she was super funny. She had me cracking
Yeah.
up the whole time. Like she's a super cool person, so I hope that we can work together again in the future, definitely. So
Yeah.
she was actually quite surprised that the MSF community remembered her, and
What?
I was like, no, we would love to have you back, for crying out loud,
Yeah. I mean,
So yeah.
she was really good, right? I remember that after those strike time videos, she would talk about the community and some of the art that they did and all sorts of things, right? I think Cerebral's doing these now, and I don't know if the new, was it Laura or somebody?
Lori.
Lori, yeah. I don't know if she's actually engaged with the community much, if at all. Uh,
Lori, from what I understood, from what Zeeks told me, that the chat in the Envoy Discord is kind of quiet, but Lori does deal with the envoys directly, like one on one.
Right, I see, and that's the thing, I see Remen next in the chat. I mean, I think it's really about communication, right? I really wish that it doesn't matter if it's envoys or the community as a whole. Why can't we get more feedback? Damn it, right? Why? I mean, just yeah,
Actually, yeah, Rem is in the chat, and believe it or not, Rem is working on that with Lori, like pretty hardcore.
yeah,
Rem has been doing a lot of amazing behind the scenes stuff. So ask him questions about that stuff. Rem is always very open about the stuff he's working on,
yeah.
and like I said, as a community, we're all trying to come together to make this game better for everybody. And he's spearheading a lot of stuff, and
Wow.
you can definitely ask him any questions that you have.
Should we bring Rem on call?
I don't know. He's up to it.
I don't know. Rem, do you want to come on? Depends if you're wearing pants or not, because this is the no pants show. This is the only no pants show in the Marvel Strike Force community, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna take mine off because I noticed that you don't have yours on.
How do you know? Actually, oh no, there's multiple cameras in here.
There might be a mirror somewhere in there.
Oh crap. But yeah, I mean,
Rem's on mobile, so
okay, all good. Yeah, next time we should definitely.
But yeah, go in his Discord, and you can always send him a message and ask him. Like, Rem is working on a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people say that he quit and came back and all that, but whatever, who cares?
who cares?
The fact is he's back and he's working on solutions, and that goes a
Yes.
long way.
Yes.
Some of the solutions you're not always going to see out in the limelight. Sometimes they're all going to happen behind the scenes, but
Right.
he is making some positive changes. I know, like I said, and Zeke's kind of enlightened me and hopefully the community to a lot of stuff that we didn't know before. So I'm hoping that we might be able to turn a corner here, and
Yeah.
and at least if the community can kind of get a little bit of an understanding as to what's going on. Knowledge is power,
Exactly.
and the more that we know about what's going on, the more forgiving we can be, or the
Yeah.
more the more understanding we can be about some of the things that are happening
Yeah.
without being an apologist.
I mean, so chat's wondering, did you ask Zeeks about anything in terms of pricing and how it's just increasing like this?
No, but I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that this is a gotcha game,
Yeah.
and as long as people are paying the prices, it's like Disney. Disney keeps jacking up their prices to get in the theme parks. I live in the area, so I know
Yeah.
they're always jacking up the prices because people are paying the prices, and as long as
They'll do
people are continuing to pay and they're making more profit,
Mm-hmm.
they can get a little more brazen with their pricing structure. That's
Right.
just it's supply and demand. It's the way
Exactly.
business works.
It's economics, I mean, they talked about how we all know that Scopely made 300 million in 2020, right? But that's
Yeah.
when COVID hit, guys, and nobody can really go wild, nobody can really do much. So people just focused on virtual gaming, right? I know even, for example, Roblox. Kids
Yeah.
play that. My kids are not that old yet. Luckily, I haven't given them an iPad that can actually play games yet. But the thing is, everybody
Yeah.
hung out in these virtual worlds. And for people like us, we started playing. I started playing this during COVID, right, in 2020, and I think in I mean, I'm a noob when it comes to you guys, right? And you guys have been playing like 1,400 days. I've only been playing close to 700. But still, I just remember
Yeah.
there was I came from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I saw
Right.
this on the App Store, and I'm like, whoa, I like Marvel. Yes, I do. And I downloaded it, and literally, I was supposed to be working. It was like a Monday. I remember. I'll never forget this. Your first time, you never forget. And you basically, I just remember I started playing, and I looked at the clock, and it was like 4 hours later, and I'm like, what just happened? And like, have you ever played a game? I'm sure you have, Nature Boy, but have you ever played a game when you got red in the face, you got flushed because you got so excited? Like, when was the last time you felt like that?
Anytime I play God of War, it's my favorite game ever.
Yes. I mean, it's the excitement that you get, right? And I haven't felt
Hmm.
like that. I haven't had that flush, even though I have the Asian flush right now because I'm drinking, okay? But outside of that, I mean, when I played this game, I lost track of time. I remember my first character that I actually paid money for was Venom, right? Because I needed a villain character. And I was just like
Hmm.
that was like that drop in the bucket at that time was $5. And it was over. It was
Yeah.
over from there.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
and
Mine was anti-venom, actually.
anti-venom, much better
Yep.
than venom. But I mean,
Well, it was Halloween. It was October 2 years ago, and it was a downward spiral ever since. So I get
yeah.
what you're saying. You spend that first dollar and you're done.
Oh, it's over, right? And this is the thing. This game just sort of pulls at our heartstrings. Especially for Marvel lovers like us. It's just like
Yeah.
wow, and we're up to 199 characters,
Yeah.
pretty much 200. I mean, that's
Hmm.
insane. And it's gonna be what every couple months we're gonna have five, maybe six characters. That's crazy. How are we going to keep up? And that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. How do we keep up? I mean, I've literally, look at this. I have like 40 favorites. All right.
Hmm.
I can't keep track anymore. I got Wakanda, I got
Hmm.
Namor just over here. I got Gambit over here for my the breakout period. So I don't really know how to keep up. Like how do you keep up in this game?
I spend ridiculous amounts of money, unfortunately. I'm very open about that in my FOMO videos that I
Yeah.
do. I actually tell people how much I spend each patch,
Uh huh.
because I want people to know how bad this game can get with people. Now,
Yeah.
I will say that I did not spend on Madeline Pryor, and I'm not spending on Spider Woman. So I'm really happy that I was able to kind of like kick my FOMO in the rear end and not. Yeah, I know it's a
Why?
shocker, but
Why?
yeah. Because Madeline Pryor is not required for anything,
That's true.
really.
That's true. Except for the Greek raids right
And
now, for the web
yeah,
event.
yeah. Hmm. And Spider Woman is she's not necessary for Scourge. I'm not going to use a force. I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to be a sack team for me, so I don't need to like go crazy with stars on her. So I'm gonna go with Inhumans and Young Avengers because in the
Okay.
last patch I spent hundreds of dollars on Young Avengers, and I made a video on that and I talked
Right.
about it, and I do have them at a very high star level, so I'm definitely going to make them my main. Now I'm also thinking of taking uh, Ms. Marvel and putting her on the Inhumans, getting rid of Karnak,
Mm-hmm.
and then putting Miles on the Young Avengers. So I might
Oh,
do
wait,
that as
actually,
another comp.
I'm just like you, man. I wailed out on Young Avengers. I mean, are you a huge War fan?
No, not really.
Then why'd you wail out on Young Avengers?
Because I didn't have Heroes for Hire very high, and I wanted to like have a really big surprise, fu
Mm-hmm.
middle finger team on Node 10 or in Room 10
Yeah.
for as like surprise. Like when you get to Room 10, you can see it like, oh
Right.
man, I'm not going to beat this room, so they just move on. But I wanted to have like one really really good war defense team, so that
Right.
was Young Avengers was going to be my team.
Yeah. And by the way, I made a video early on, right? Because recently okay, so this is hilarious. It's a huge history, right? So in Arena, all right. So number three Saint. So it's been I keep saying this, right? So she just joined my alliance as of today. Um, Me and her have been going back and forth on Arena all the time, and basically, she was the first one to explain to me that, hey, you know what, Young Avengers is actually viable outside of war defense. And I made a video about war offense using Young Avengers below, I think, 700K, and they freaking dominated. I mean, have you
Yeah.
experienced that or in RTA or something?
With Young Avengers?
Yeah.
I've been hearing that they are surprisingly good in in a lot of game modes, believe it or not. So
They're insane.
I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that. I was pleasantly surprised to hear about Wakandans as well.
Yeah.
Because I told when I told Zeeks that Wakandans got reworked, she was actually surprised. I'm like, yeah, they might actually be a raid team now. So,
Wow.
but yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised to hear about that.
Yeah.
Your Young Avengers are crazy,
Oh,
man.
dude, I wailed the F out on this team because, first of all, I'm a
Yeah, you
huge
did.
war fan, right? I only play Arena and War. I hate RTA, but basically, for me, it's all about war and war defense teams. I'm probably one of the few. Originally when Heroes for Hire came out, I wailed on them, and I felt like a badass. When I got like 30 defensive wins in one war, and then the other
Yeah.
lines just gave up. They literally just gave up. They stopped. I stopped them dead in the tracks, and that, right? I just remember when I had those defensive wins, just looking down the scroll list, my face turned red again. I got flushed because I got so freaking excited, right? I don't know. This game excites me in different ways. I'm sure it does you.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like I completely wailed out in Darkhold,
oh
and
yeah, you
I
got
was
to.
I
You
was
got to.
struggling between top 50 and top 100 with Eternals for quite a while,
Yeah.
and then I wailed out on the Darkhold team, and not a lot of people in my arena shard did. So now I'm sitting in the top 5 all the time, and nobody touches me. So that's that was
Yes.
my red face moment too.
It's so exciting, right? When it's and the thing is, people say, oh, ladders are problematic, and there's cheats and all of that, and hacks and exploits. But the thing is, this game, it's about the community. It's about the competition, right? And this is the thing where it's really exciting for me. I mean, I've been thinking about this, the dynamics of this game. If we didn't have the community, if we didn't have the competition, whether it's arena, war, whatever, would you play this game?
No, I like the competitive aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Either the game's going to have competitive aspects to it, or it's going to be a AAA game that you can play on a console.
Mm-hmm.
That's like or just a regular story-based game. I like games that have some competition aspects to
Yeah.
it. I also love RPG games.
Yes.
And this game kind of reminds me of the old throwback to Final Fantasy when it was turn-based.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of got both elements that I enjoy. So that's why I enjoy this game so much.
Oh man, RPGs. Did you play Final Fantasy 7? I'm sure you did. Did you cry? Did you cry when
Yeah,
Aerith, is that her name?
Aerith, yeah, Aerith.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but yeah, Final Fantasy
cried.
X was
I
my
cried.
favorite
Okay. I bawled. Okay, when Aerith died. That's all I can say.
There's been a few games that kind of tugged on my heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Final Fantasy X is probably my favorite one, and I
Oh,
think that was
10.
like the last game that really embraced that turn-based
Mm-hmm.
part of the game, and then all the games after that were kind of more like real-time combat. It was more like real. It was still kind of turn-based, but it was more
Right.
real-time. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I enjoy that aspect of it. I enjoy the turn-based aspect of the game,
Yeah.
and I enjoy the competition. But like for me, integrity of a video game is of the utmost importance to me. And with the exploits with the Scourge event and the exploits with the Stark Armory event, took a big took a big hit on the integrity in my book, and I honestly almost walked away from the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I almost walked away from the game when it was like in the middle of Scourge, and then when Mr. Free to Play said he was quitting, I was like I was on the fence. But
Yeah.
I I think for me, I like the community the best in this game. Like the community is the best part. I love
Yes.
going on streams. I love interacting with other players. I love making videos for you guys. Like I love all this stuff. I love my fellow content creators that I get to interact with every day. You know, and it's just it's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
It keeps me from, you know, getting old too fast, and I, you know, and it's doing something that I enjoy, even though
Yeah.
I'm not making a dime doing it.
Right.
You know, you really love something when you are willing to do it for free. So
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. And this is what we love about you, Nature Boy, right? And outside of the hot tubs, you know, the streams that we're
Yeah.
gonna do, guys. So tune in for that. We're gonna literally
That's
get
right.
we're gonna get like -1 viewers during that time. That's the thing.
not if we put hashtag that's my Wong.
Oh man, or got my wong, right? Finally.
Got my Wong. Yeah, that was all you, man. By the way.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I think you took care of that one.
This I mean, you know, I like to think that I helped a little bit push the you know, in them internally. I have no idea, but this costume, oh my gosh, it's so cool, right? And literally like even he's just like, he has his hands behind his back. He just needs one hand. He just one hand to dominate. Versus this guy, right? He can't even stand up straight. And he's just like, I need two over here, like a freaking golem. I'm like, It's just like, it's like night and day for me. I mean, I'm not trying to. I've been drinking.
Dude, your hashtag got my Wong video had me dead. Like, I was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing.
I mean, that really got to me. Sometimes when I you know, sort of like, you know, drill down into an issue, because I was really at first I was just taken aback. Then I got more livid as time went on, right? When other people were just like, actually, yeah, you know, that's sort of borderline racist. I'm like, oh yeah, look in the history in the 1960s and all this stuff. And it was, I just, you know, when I drink, I make up stupid shit. So I put together a whole PowerPoint presentation one night. I don't know what. I mean, this is what happens when you're stuck in a hotel, right? You got a lot of time on
Those
your hands.
those videos, Gleam, when you did the tea, had him with the tea. Oh my God! Like your video, like honestly, you are probably the most underrated content creator ever with your comedy. I
Oh.
swear to God, I wish everybody, I wish you had a million subscribers. Like that shit
No.
is the best.
Like the thing is, like even in my videos, I'm just like, you can like me or not. I don't give a rat's ass, right? For me, it's about like just like you're saying. I don't do this for the money. I do it for the fun of it, because
Yeah.
you know, we're gonna play this game no matter what. We might as well talk about it, right? And just like you mentioned, it's about the community. Like, we love the community, and whether or not we love Scopely, that's besides the point. But we need to try to convey the message that, hey, there are issues with the game, but there are parts that we do like. And if we can actually make just a semblance of something, right? If we can actually push them a little bit, I think that's a win for the whole community.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's why I want everybody to watch that video with Zeeks. But watch
Yes,
it after
please.
the stream. Don't,
Yes.
you know, make
Yes.
sure you stay for the whole stream. And then after the stream, like I said, you got the link. I'm sure Gleam will put it in there again. But definitely, I want everybody to check out that video, because I think if anything, you'll get knowledge about. It'll kind of like help you understand better as to what the hell is going on with this company. It's not
Yes.
it's not that they're out to get you. It's just a crappy mobile game company that has a really good IP. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's really what it boils down to, and it's unfortunate. Even Zeeks was saying, like, when Scopely took over Fox Next, that was kind of a motivating factor for her to make her exit anyway. Because everybody knows Scopely's reputation with video games. They're a big gacha company.
Yeah.
It's a big loot box game. It's a gambling game, and so
Yeah.
you know, you either like it or you don't. And she was very upfront about that. She's like, I'm not a fan of gacha games.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the project she's working on now is complete opposite of that. It's, you know, only a little bit of gacha in there. But yeah, it's just that whole transition into Scopely, kind of, even the developers got a little turned off by it.
Yeah.
And they actually enjoyed working under Fox. So yeah, you'll learn a lot in that video. I hope you all watch it.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone, please do watch Nature Boy's interview with Zeeks. it's enlightening. That's all I can say. And at the same time, it's just there's so much content in there, right? I feel like you should do, or you can get Pathfinder Game and do a 60-second video about all the highlights in there. I mean, there's so much though.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to do like a whole series of them.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of information. I think it's a half an hour video.
Yeah.
But it's worth every minute. Like I really tried to ask questions that would resonate with the community because it's questions that everybody's been having issues with, you know.
Yeah.
And I think one of the last questions I asked her was about QA, and
Mm-hmm.
she went deep dive into QA. So definitely watch the section on the QA.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty enlightening too.
Wait, so you're telling me that they do have QA, right?
Yes, so there is a QA department.
Okay.
She said it's in office. It's small, but now, like I said, everybody is not there in the office right now because
Yeah.
it's COVID over there still apparently,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's a lot of people working from home. But she said that she loved the QA people that worked there.
Mm-hmm.
They do outsource some of the QA to other places.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bugs that you're seeing in the game are simply bugs that were caught, but because of deadlines, Scopely decided that it wasn't that detrimental to release it into the game and fix it later. That's how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a crappy way to do things. I think everybody would agree that it's okay to delay something if it means that we're going to get a polished, finished product.
Yeah.
So if they have to delay a patch or something by a couple of weeks because they want to give us a good patch, then
Yeah.
so be it. Do it. I don't care.
But they do care, right? Because that hits our bottom line, right? Every
It hits
single
the bottom
week.
line, exactly.
And that's the issue with. Sorry, you hear that ambulance going on? I didn't know Singapore has these cop cars coming to get me because I'm underage drinking or something. I don't know. but I mean,
It's Scopely. They're coming to get you.
oh crap. Yeah, so anyway, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you coming on stream. This is super ad hoc, right? We didn't plan this in advance.
No.
I'm just like, dude, you
Not at
wanna
all.
come on stream and we just shoot the shit? I mean,
Yep.
we don't have to end it here. If you were just want to hang out as well with the community over here and talk about random stuff, we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hang out like 20 more minutes and then I'm going to go eat lunch.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So
It's almost noontime over here.
So I'm actually really interested in what other games did you play? Because you're into RPGs. Because I'm a huge RPG fan.
Oh, yeah. So some of my favorite games is, well, God of War is my all-time favorite game, the whole series. I was a huge fan of it. So I love that whole series. That's absolutely my favorite. Nothing will ever beat that.
Yeah.
Then I also love the Mass Effect series,
Oh yeah.
the Dragon Age series. I enjoy the choice-based games. KOTOR.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, playing games like that. The Final Fantasy series.
Right.
And for me, Final Fantasy X was my all-time favorite.
Yes.
I love them all, but 10 kind of had my heart, and stuff like that. I like the whole not turn-based, but the whole story-based. Your decisions matter, and your decisions carry over into the next game, etc.
Right.
So I enjoy those games. I enjoy a good story-based game.
Right. Absolutely. Titus, Final Fantasy X. I mean, that was one of my favorite games. It's funny because when I finished that game, and I did cry, yes.
I did
but
too.
I think there were multiple endings. I think there were like 5 endings, if I.
Yeah, I know the perfect ending, kind of like.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you cried, but then you felt happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because I think I had a girlfriend at the time, and maybe I was in college. I forgot exactly when, but I wanted her to experience what I experienced, right? And I was gonna put her through freaking 60 hours of gameplay. So I bought on eBay. I bought these DVDs of somebody doing a speed run through it, right? So they
Oh, wow.
basically cut out all of the random encounters and everything, and just went to the story. But it was still 5 DVDs. It was like 2.5 hours. I forgot what. And then I made her sit through that. And I'm just like, are you crying yet? Are you crying yet?
Wow.
It was-
You know what I really like too? I really like the movie that they made. What was it called? This was several years ago. It was a Final Fantasy movie. It wasn't that crappy one from a long time ago.
Right,
It was the
right.
one with Sephiroth in it. He at the end, him and Cloud had the big fight, and they played One Winged Angel. It was really awesome.
It was not Spirits Within, because that was That was.
Yeah, Ralph got it. Advent Children. Yeah,
Oh,
that was
okay, okay.
an amazing movie. Yeah, I loved it. As a matter of fact, my son, when he was little, he used to watch it like over and over again. So I'm like, good kid. He's gonna grow
Yeah.
up to be good.
Oh, I don't think I've seen this. Oh man, I gotta watch this tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all the Final Fantasy VII. It's based on the Final Fantasy VII game,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
and it's basically about how they bring Sephiroth back and have a fight and all that. It's really really good.
I see. So outside of Final Fantasy, you said Mass Effect. Were you a Dragon Age fan as well?
Yeah, I love Dragon Age. Yep. I I love them all. Two kind of broke away from the story was good, but it kind of broke away from the the model of Dragon Age, I guess, with when it comes to like gameplay and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, but Dragon Age Origins was amazing, and then the last one that they made was absolutely one of my favorite games too. And they are
Inquisition.
making a sequel, which I cannot wait for.
That's right.
You know, yeah, because they revealed the dire wolf at the end, and he's going to be a big part of the next game. Which I liked him as a character. He's just kind of like this. He kind of looked like Wong with pointy ears.
Oh man.
But yeah, but he was pretty cool. He's a pretty cool character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about RPGs, right? I mean, outside of action RPGs, I'm for me, because I work with the creators of Diablo, right? I think you know this in a couple of my other streams, and I'm gonna try to bring Max and Eric Schaefer on stream. He was actually supposed to come on recently, but it was Mother's Day weekend, and he's just like, yeah, I gotta hang out with the fam, but I want to understand how he and they feel about the upcoming Diablo Immortals, because it's just basically taking their baby that they worked on for so long, right? They created this, including David Brevik, and just surpassing what they've done with sort of the darkness of Diablo 1 and 2. And then Diablo 3 was not their, IP at that point. But Diablo Immortal is going to be a mobile game, and that's something I've been actually considering on streaming as well. Depending on if there's a good community, and depending on if the competition is going to be fierce or not. So, did you ever play Diablo?
A long time ago. But I actually before I get into that, did you see McMole's interview with David Brevik?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because he had mentioned that he was kind of excited to see where they take that game.
Right.
So if he kind of sort of gives the stamp of approval, I think it'll probably be a decent game. It'll at least be worth checking out.
Absolutely,
So I'm probably not going to play it myself, but I will definitely watch it if you do, because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brevik is he's such a great guy. I mean, it's so funny because there's a lot of stories about back in the day when we were working on Hellgate London. Did you ever play that game?
No.
Okay, so it was sort of like the next version of Diablo that we try to create. It was an action RPG slash MMORPG slash everything. It was like the kitchen sink together in one package. And unfortunately, we just tried too much. It was like a third person and first person action RPG. So you can imagine how Diablo from a 2.5 isometric view became sort of a third and first person, and that didn't really work out well, unfortunately. But I think when it comes to Diablo Immortals, I'm really excited. It's something where I do appreciate turn-based games. When it comes to action RPG, I have to go in there. I know a lot of people are playing what is that the recent game
Elden Ring.
No, the NC Soft game, the action RPG Diablo-esque game. I forgot what it's called.
I'm sure the chat will know.
Yeah, I think Rem also started playing that. I mean, a bunch of people started playing that, but it's basically just
is it Advent something?
No, it's like I think it started Lost Ark. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Lost Ark.
JT Shape. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if people are still playing that. I mean, people are so like, oh my God, this is the best new thing. I'm gonna quit Marvel Strike Force. I'm gonna go play this game. But these games don't have the the staying power, the stickiness, that's what we call it in the industry, right? The stickiness appeal. So after a month or two, you play, you're just like, oh, I'm sort of sick of it. I want to go back to something else that keeps my interest, right? So, I mean, Marvel Strike Force, how long have you been playing?
A little bit after global launch,
Yeah,
a
so
couple months after global
I mean, that's
launch.
insane. Like, how many games can you say that you can play this long, or has it been this long for?
Yeah,
Not
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 many
many.
at all.
And I think it's
No.
funny because I think there was another Marvel game from Crystal Dynamics, Marvel's Avengers game, and they try to make it into sort of a
Yeah.
service, right? They keep releasing content for it, but it just didn't do well,
hmm
unfortunately. But
They're actually still making content for that game, and
yeah,
I do know a few people that still play it. I was actually
wow,
thinking about turning it back on again and seeing what's going on with it. But to be honest with you, I think Marvel Future Revolution was supposed to be the MSF killer, and
yeah,
that obviously flopped. But I think the next chance that a game will have to kind of like draw people away from MSF would
hmm,
probably be Midnight Suns, because
ooh,
that game looks really good,
yes.
and that's a
So
console. That's a console game, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you can play it on PC too. But
it,
it's kind of like a Magic the Gathering
yes.
esque card game, and it looks really badass. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's from the makers of XCOM 2, right? XCOM 2, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
There's something encounters, but I mean, I think I'm gonna go all in on that game as well. But I don't know if it actually has a lot of competition because it's mainly a single player game, from my understanding.
I don't know if they're gonna have because it is like a card type game. I don't know if they're gonna have like a competitive aspect to it, a PvP type mode. But yeah,
Hmm.
but for me, like even if it's like a just a standalone game, I enjoy that stuff.
Right.
And if it has a lot of replayability or replay value, like I'll definitely play it several times. Like I said, I love the God of War series. Probably about once a year, I play the whole entire series
Yeah.
over again, just because I really like it that much. And then the new one's coming out, so I'm like,
Yeah.
totally a
Ooh.
fanboy over that one. And yeah, there's just I think there's a lot of good things that have come out recently. I think there's a lot of good things on the slate coming up,
Hmm.
but you know, content creation's hard because like there's a lot of saturation in the content creator market for MSF.
Yeah.
So you got the top couple of guys, like a mobile gamer or Valley. They
Hmm.
got in on day one,
Sure.
and they got their share of the subscribers and the viewers, and they people are very loyal to them, and
Right.
I watch them all the time too. I love them both. I've worked with Valley sometimes, and I really enjoy their stuff. Um, it's hard to kind of build your brand when
Hmm.
you're coming into it later.
Right.
So for me, I hope this is kind of like a little bit of a platform into bigger and better things in the future because Marvel Strike Force is not going to be around forever.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that this will kind of springboard me into other aspects. If anything, too, it's at least giving me good practice on making good quality content,
Right.
being good in front of a camera. I still stutter a lot when I speak on a microphone, but it's things I got to work on. So it's just it's just kind of like stepping stones,
Right.
and hopefully that the viewers and the players will enjoy you for you, and they'll follow you wherever you go and kind of watch whatever game you're playing. So
Exactly.
it's just it's all about community for me.
Yeah.
I love community. I love the togetherness in the game. That not to be too kumbaya,
Hmm.
but yeah, the community is the best part of this game
Yeah.
by far.
Completely agree. Completely agree. All right, bro. So let me let you go. I'm sure
Yep.
you're starving. I think I heard something. I think
Yes.
I heard your stomach grumble. So yeah, we should do
Probably.
this. We should do this again next time in a hot tub.
I'm down, man. Let's do it. Maybe we'll get Kiera Kitty to join us.
Oh yeah, I gotta hit her up, and then we gotta get Ralph in here as well. Ralph
Yeah,
Gann.
you gotta DM Rolf, and he knows her pretty well, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I think they met up the last week or two, and I'm just like,
Right?
all right, we gotta get a whole thing going over here.
Yeah. Maybe next time you'll tell her what you actually play when you ask her where the gym is.
God. Yeah, I'll be like, I play Midnight Suns, and she's like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Where's the gym?
Yeah. All right, bud.
All right, brother. Have a good stream.
All right. Take it easy, man. See ya.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.